All right, Cisco. So the end to another era just after a year since it started. I know AP said yesterday he was operating under the assumption that he would be the head coach, but he's not. So when you saw that news break, what was your instant reaction?
Well, I wasn't surprised, um, but I mean, I was 50-50 on it. I think we need that stability. We need to have some consistency in that locker room. Players love to play for him, which was obvious. We've seen that. They never gave up. But on the flip side of that coin, this division is tough. He's competing with three Super Bowl coaches, and I don't think his resume matches his competition. So my fingers are crossed that they got a top shelf coach waiting in the wings is what I'm hoping.
Dan Campbell went 3-13-1 in his first season in Detroit. And even though AP went 4-13 in his first season as head coach, you kind of saw some signs there, the buy-in with the players backing the coach, yada yada. But what about AP maybe thought that maybe made you think that the future wasn't as bright as it would have been with Detroit with a similar head coach?
Well, the difference between the two is Campbell's been coaching a lot longer than AP in a different stature. Like he was an official defensive coordinator. AP was a linebacker coach. It's a big step. It's a big step. I mean, John Madden, first time head coach, did very well. John Gruden. It's been done. It's been done. But, again, I think going back to, our GM and our owner, Mark Davis, are looking at our competition, and they need to get an A-list coach on the staff that can compete with our division. Bottom line, I mean, everybody in the that was in our division made the playoffs. That's tough. They're probably thinking like, what's going on? We need to make some changes, and we've been making changes for a long time. I just hope they make the right changes this time around.
You talk about making the right change, and they haven't been able to do that. They're going to have four head coaches in the span of 5 seasons, and really five if you include the interim head coaches in that conversation. So, as a die-hard Raiders fan, as a member of the black hole, how frustrating is it to see this team not be able to get it right?
Very, very frustrated. It's been tough. It's been really tough, but we are who we are. We are different. We are Raider Nation. We are Black Hole. We're going to back our team no matter what. It's a disease, just to say the least. But it's a good one, and we love it. But we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Make sure that the hires up. Mark Davis, Les will make the right decisions and get the right guy in the right seat this time. And we'll just have to wait and see what their decision is, but I hope it's a good one.
Well, you saw through the course of the season that there were some clock management problems for AP and moments where his lack of coaching experience really did shine through. You see, Tom Telesco, he's still going to be the general manager. But after seeing that year under AP, as a fan, what are you looking for in this hire? Are you hoping for any certain thing, be it an offensive coach or defensive coach or any kind of background?
Well, that depends on how our defensive coordinator is. Graham going to stick around now? I don't know. I mean, I know he was kind of in that talks of possibly getting the head coaching position before AP. Maybe that's the direction they're going to go. If that's the direction they're going to go, then we need a top-notch offensive coordinator. And I mean, just coming off the top of my head, I would love to see Hugh Jackson come back. Eric Bieniemy jump on board. Chip. I mean, there's a few out there. I'm just kind of spitballing right now off the top of my head, but those are three offensive coordinators I would love. I don't know if Turner will stick around. I would love him to, but I don't know if he will. With this revolving door of coaches we've had that you just mentioned a few moments ago. So there's a lot to be seen in these coming weeks.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe with Tom Brady now as a part owner, you think of Mike Vrabel out there, Brady's former teammate, who is really a similar personality to AP. So we'll see what the Raiders do. But the obvious bright spot of the season was Brock Bowers and seeing what he was able to do. And that's maybe a good reason why Tom Telesco is still on board with this operation because that was his draft pick in the first round. Do you have any early impression of Tom Telesco and the direction that he's put the team on so far?
Well, as a fan, not in that building, I don't know who's making decisions or what. He definitely knows how to pick talent player wise. He's proven it, and he's proven it with us with Brock Bowers, who you just mentioned. Um, I don't think that this if he is in that team of deciding who the coaches are, I think that's probably his minus on his report card is a D. I don't think his knack to pick coaches is up there with his knack to pick players. Um, Getsy was obviously, a disaster for us. So if he was a part of that, then I'll say that. I'll stand by my word. But we definitely. I mean, as a Raider fan, even as a sports fan watching Raider games, you could see that our play calling was just terrible. We didn't adjust to our injuries on the offensive line. It was plain to see that our quarterback didn't have 5-6 seconds to throw the ball. So that's where you got to develop a scheme that's going to work for what you have on the field. And if your quarterback only has 3 seconds to throw the ball, then you better start developing some quick slant patterns, plays, some cross routes, some quick cross routes, something. And none of that was being done. And it was relevant to our record.
Yeah. Entering the season, you would wonder how much better is a quarterback room of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields than Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew. Maybe the gap isn't that wide, but yet the Steelers end up going to the playoffs and the Raiders are a bottom six team in the NFL. Maybe there is some coaching problems there, but that's the glaring issue with the Raiders entering the offseason, just like it was last year, was that quarterback position. Now they're at the sixth pick. Things looked a lot more simple when they had the first overall pick. And
Yeah.
free agency is going to be here in no time. Kirk Cousins may be on the move, Aaron Rodgers on the move. Where's your head at when it comes to this quarterback position and what Raider Nation wants?
Well, I'll say this, and I've been saying this since last year, and we touched on it earlier in the season. If you go roll back some tape, AOC is still my guy. I mean, look at it. Proof is in the pudding, right? Numbers don't lie. What are his stats versus Stroud's stats this year?
Probably
They're
comparable.
almost identical. So our problem was our offensive line injuries. Now, if you see, like I've been saying, your offensive line is the foundation of your home. Your home is sitting on a solid foundation. We need that foundation. You put that foundation in place, AOC's our guy. So then what we need to do is go out and draft the best football player available like we did last year. We may not, hit the 3 sevens like we did with Brock Bowers, but I still say we go after that. We already have a quarterback. Now, leading to what you just said. Now, yes, let's go get a Kirk Cousins as a backup role and make him a backup role. Have him mentor AOC. Have him then mentor whatever quarterback we get late in the draft. Like I still think we can get my guy who I've been pushing for all this year is Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. He had one bad game this year where he threw 3 picks. That's it. The guy can run. He can, he doesn't slide. He'll take a hit and go forward for that extra yard. He can throw the ball. He's accurate. I mean, that right there to me is the guy we need to go out. If we're going to get a quarterback, go get him.
Right. Well, I'm sure we're going to have many conversations, and as will all Raider fans throughout the offseason, on whether it's worth it to trade up for Shador Sanders or Cam Ward or whatever it might be with that solution at quarterback. But for now, it's AP out, Telesco stays, and they still got to hire an offensive coordinator along the way too. So it should be a very busy offseason. But Cisco, thanks so much for the time. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let me go and start recording. There.